LocalDate is a Java class with which we can do all kinds of calculations or operations related to dates. And I say in this title of this slide, I say that it is a standard Java class, and that means that it comes with a Java development kit. So in this video we are going to study three programs named Apollo11.java, ImportantBirthdays.java and BadLuckDays.java. And these are examples that show some things that can be done with this class LocalDate. And we are also going to use another date-related class in these example programs. So my name is Kari Laitinen, and let's go to see the programs then. So you can find these programs if you first go to naturalprogramming.com, and through this Java icon you find this page, and the programs are located quite at the end of this table. So you will find here the Apollo 11 and ImportantBirthdays.java and BadLuckDays.java. So I have already downloaded these programs, and let's see how they work. So let's try this Apollo11.java first. So it is, well, I will compile it. And then I will run it like this, and it says that Christopher Columbus discovered America on 1492, October 12th. That was a Wednesday. And then it says that Apollo 11 landed on the moon on 1969, July 20. That was a Sunday. And then it says that America was discovered 476 years, 9 months and 8 days before the first moon landing. So let's then take a look at this program, and it looks like this. So there are some comments at the beginning of this file, and this comment says that this program is a standard version of my textbook program Columbus.java. So in my book I have been doing these same calculations in different programs, and there I have used my own date class. But now in the modern Java there is more, or there is better classes to do the same thing, and this LocalDate class is a really good class for these calculations. So I think that you don't need to use the date class that is presented in the book. So let's then take a look at this source code. So this is a quite short program, and here we first create two LocalDate objects. These are the names that refer to these objects. So there is the date of discovery of America, and in this LocalDate class there is a method called off, and with that method you can create the LocalDate object, so that you give first the year, and then the month, and then the day of the date. So here I give these parameters for the off method, and then I give these different parameters. So there's a year, there is the month, and there is the day of the month. And basically, for instance, this program can find out what was the day of week of these dates, and that is done by using this thing called string formatter or format specifier. So I'm using this printf method, which means formatted printing, and then I give it first a string as a first parameter, and the second parameter is now this LocalDate object. And this printf method, it can extract information from this object through these format specifiers. So in this format specifier there is this so the % starts the format specifier, and then this 1 and $, it means that we refer to the first parameter after this string, so we refer to the LocalDate object. And then this tf specifies that we print the date, and then in this other format, the other format specifier is the similar, but there is there you can see that there is TA, and this TA means that you print the day of week. So that way we are able to print this. So this format specifier prints this, and this format specifier prints this Wednesday text here. So these format specifiers, they can really look quite complicated, but well, you just have to get used to them, and they are useful also with other methods than the printf method. So if you want to find information about these format specifiers, you will find, for instance, if you go, if you will take a look at this format class documentation. So there is also a class called formatter in Java, and in the documentation of this class you can find quite exact documentation about these format specifiers. So that, for instance, in general it is so that when you use this letter T here, that means that you want to do some time-related formatting, and then here, for instance, this letter F here that we have been using, it means that the date is printed in the so-called ISO format, in which the month comes first and then the year comes first and then the month and then the day. And this other format that we use, this uppercase A, it means that we print the day of week as a whole day of week. So if we would modify this, if we would use this lowercase a, then it should print a shortened version of the day of week. But you can study these things by yourself if you like. So this program then continues so that it can calculate the chronological difference between these two dates, and for that it uses a method called until. And that until method then returns a period object. And the period object is then something different than the local date, so that period is a chronological distance between two dates. And so the chronological distance can be 0 even. And then from this distance between object, then we get, from that object we can get the distance in years, months and days by using these three methods like this. So if you want to find information about these local date methods, you can always, so you can find the documentation if you just use the Google and you write the Java and local date. So then you find this page, and here is a list of methods. And for instance, we have been using here this. Have been using this for instance, this of method, and we have been using this until method, which returns a period object. So, with these standard classes, it is easy to find out what is the day of week of a date, or it is easy to calculate distances between two chronological distances between two dates. So let's then move to another program. There is this program Important Birthdays. And here, let's first run the program. So I will compile it. And let's run it. So it says, type in your date of birth as year, month and day. Please you use 4 digits for the year and 2 digits for month and day. So let's, because I'm using an iMac computer here, let's try the birthday of Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs was born 1955 and 24th of February. So 1955 and February with 2 digits and 24. And it says here that this person who is born on this day, he was born on Thursday, and he was 30 years old in 1985 on a Sunday, 24th of February, and well, he would be 70 years old 2025 February 24th, and that would be Monday. So they are again calculations related to dates, and how this is done. Then we have a loop here. Or first we read the date from the keyboard. So we first take a string from the keyboard and we read that with the next line method. So here we have a string object, and then we have to convert that string object to a local date object. And in this local date class there is this method called pass, and with that method we can pass the string so that it is converted to a local date object. And then after this pass operation, this name then refers to a local date object that contains the given birthday as local date. And then it says, then we can start printing, and again with the date formatter or this format specifier TA, we can print the day of week of this date or the given date. And now we don't have to use this $sign or anything here because we have only one parameter here, and we are not using it more than once. And here we have this loop then. So in this, when it starts printing, it starts from 10 years, so 10 years to celebrate, and we will go to until 70 years, because we will at the end of this loop we will increment this years to celebrate by 10, and here we always create a new local date object. So, and then there is this, again we are using a new local date method called plus years. So we take the date of birth that was given at the beginning, and then we add so many years as is the value of this variable. So in the first printing, the value will be 10, so we get a new local date object that contains the date when this person was 10 years old. And then we just print it again with the printf method. So we print the whole date, and then we first print the years to celebrate, an integer value, and then we print the date in two forms, so that we print the full. So this specifies that we will print the full date information, and this then specifies that we will print the day of week of that date. So this first refers to this. So here this D means that we refer to the integer value here, and that is the first parameter, and here we refer to the second parameter in these two printing or formatting operations. So, and then when this loop is executed, so it is always executed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Inside the loop we always create a new local date object, and this new local date object then contains a different date, and that way we get the information that will be printed to the screen. So maybe this is a place to show that it's also possible to use this, because this printf method, well, we are using this, but there are also other, we can do also this formatting in other ways. For instance, I could do this same thing in the following way. Like I could create a new string here, like text to print, and I could give, if I modify then this, like this. So now I'm using a string.format method, which formats this string according to these specifications, and then then this name refers to the new string, and I could then print this like this way. I will save it and I will recompile and I will run the programs, and it works exactly the same as before. But so you here you see that this formatting strings this way, it is quite useful thing to learn, so that you don't necessarily to use it with the printf method, but you can use also it in other occasions. But let's then take a look at the last program. The last program is called BadLuckDays.java. And here again, it says that this version of the Friday13.java program uses the new time-related class LocalDate. So you can find this program also on my pages, but maybe that's not useful anymore, because this LocalDate class, with this LocalDate class, I was able to create a better version of this program. So let's run the thing first. We'll first compile it. And it says the following. The following are Fridays, which also are the 13th days of a month. And then it gives a list that when the next 13th days of a month take place, and it is usually those days they are considered that they are you may have bad luck on those days, and for that reason the program has the name that it has. So in this program we are then using the local date, or we are creating the local date object now with a method called now. And with this method, the method creates a local date so that it takes the date that is stored in the computer. So the computer always has some day stored inside its electronic devices or electronic components, and then here with this now method we get that date, and then we can just go on from that day, and we will then create another local date object here with the off method, and the first parameter is the year, and we take the year from this, the current date of the computer, and we also get the month value as an integer from that date, but we set the day to 13. So we will check the month 13 of the or the day 13 of the current month. And then there is this variable number of Friday 13 dates to print, and we set it to 10. And then we go into a loop, and we will run the loop until the value of this variable is greater than 0, and we will always decrement the value of this variable when we found a suitable date. And then we just check, because we know that the day of this date is 13, we can then check that if it is Friday. And then there is the method get day of week, and with this method we can then get the value that, or we can actually take a look at the documentation. So it was get day of week. So it is this get day of week. And that returns a thing called enum. It's a thing called enum that contains some values that refer to the days of week. And this day of week, or we can take a look at this enum. It's so-called enum, and it has constants like Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And with those constants, we can refer to the days of week. So that inside the program, we can simply test that if the thing returned by this method equals to this constant defined inside this so-called enum. So if this is true, then we have found Friday, that is the 13th day of a month, and then we just print it. And again we use these strange format specifiers. So we refer to the first parameter after this string twice, and first we print the whole date, and then we print the day of week, and we decrement the value of this variable. And then, because now we have checked 1 month, then we use this method plus months. So if we add 1 month to the month of the date of check, and this then returns a new local date object that contains the 13th day of the following month. And then we continue checking until we have found 10 days that are the 13th days of a month. So here I have been running this program in November 2016, and so it finds that next year we are going to have 2 days that are Fridays and 13th days of the month. And well, it goes until the year 2022. So there are usually 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 these kinds of dates in a year. So with these programs you can do, or with this local date you can do many kinds of calculations related to dates. And so this can be a little bit confusing. So all these programs you can find here, but in this same table you will find these programs that there's this Columbus.java and Friday 13th.java and birthdays.java. So these programs are earlier versions of these same programs, and they are using a date class that is created by me. But these are now better versions of these these programs, because they use a standard Java class. So if you go there and if you do the exercises related to, so here you can find the exercises, and if you do the exercises related to this to the local date class, you can find new days to celebrate for yourself. But well, I will stop now. So thank you for your attention, and I hoped that this was a useful video. Bye.